Hi, this is Mallika Chopra, founder of Intent and upcoming new author of Living with Intent, My Somewhat Messy Journey to Purpose, Peace, and Joy, which I'm excited to share with everyone. I am actually now speaking to Rebecca Pachecko, who has a new book coming out called Do Your Own Thing. Great title.
And, Thank you. Hi.
Yeah, and Rebecca is a popular blogger, gal, and we've kind of been in touch over the years, and I'm so thrilled to see, to actually be holding this book as I'm talking to you right now, and I know it's being released any day now. So tell me a little bit. I read your intro because I just got the book yesterday, and I was, in many ways it was interesting because I saw you really got into yoga as a teen. I started meditating when I was 9, and so it was pretty cool to see kind of this parallel of how that helped you stay anchored and know yourself and, just gave you a tool that, of course, is a tool and you forget about it every once in a while, but you come back to it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about this book and kind of how it came to life.
Yeah. I make the joke lately because at this stage I've been practicing yoga since I was 16. And so by now, in yoga years, the yoga me would already be able to vote because I'm 35. So it's more than 18 years now. And this project was something that has also been a lifelong dream or has also been a long time dream. I studied English literature in college, and I was the young kid that got busted for reading under the covers after my bedtime with a flashlight.
Yeah.
So it was many years of this idea germinating and coming to be. And it's essentially a yoga book, but it's less about the fitness and flexibility and the asanas that we see. And it's more about the meaning of yoga and specifically how to apply it to your busy modern life. It's a little bit like the subtitle of your book, which is so cute, like my sometimes messy, purposeful. It is. I think there are some fun parallels there.
And what I liked about from what I was reading is, and that's definitely what I've been trying to share, is that we aren't kind of all these enlightened yogis who are vegan and can live without any stress. I mean, in fact, we're all balancing so many things. But, we do have tools that can help along the way.
I think that's such a gift that you can give people is when you pull away the facade and you show them your real self. I mean, I'm living in Boston right now through the worst winter ever.
Yeah.
How bonkers would it be if I was just sitting here going, oh yeah, it's totally chill. The, 7-foot tall snowbanks don't bother me at all.
Yeah.
I have nowhere to park. Like, you certainly lose your sense of feeling anchored and centered. And a yoga path, a mindfulness path, a meditation practice just helps you return hopefully a little quicker. And maybe you don't go too far down the rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
So that's been the gift. Yeah, go ahead.
No, also what I really enjoy about your book is that, I think it's really about the philosophy of yoga, and, what that means. I think you kind of bring a modern window into understanding the philosophy, which is really great. And so, what does that entail for you? What has been yoga to you aside from the physical practice?
Sure. I felt like the main crux that I was trying to address with my book is that we see yoga everywhere now, and we hear that it has deeper meaning than the poses, but we don't really get the opportunity to practice that, or we don't see that nearly as much as we see these idealized, beautiful images of often women doing beautiful postures in advertising, media, online, and they're gorgeous, and I'm part of that also, and that's very fun and inspiring. But I really wanted to get down to the nitty-gritty of like, okay, you're in a contentious work meeting, or, your baby won't go down to sleep, or you don't have the ability to practice. Maybe you're injured or ill. Like, what part of yoga philosophy can you work with right there on the spot? So it was simple things like trying to talk about the 8-limbed path. So there are 8 aspects of yoga practice, and a lot of them are things that everyone does without even really realizing it. Things that have to do with personal ethics, like how you see the world, how you relate to the world. So I just wanted to illuminate that from a yoga perspective and kind of tell people or underscore for them, like, hey, look, you're already a yogi. You don't have to be thinner, more beautiful, more bendy. Like, you've already got these tools. Let's just use them more often, or let's just bring them to life in more ways for you.
It's great. And, one of the things that I definitely connected with, both from my own life and reading your own, and now as a mom of a teenager and a 10-year-old, is how important these practices were for me personally. In knowing who I was, because we always have the peer pressure to do and be something different.
Right.
And, so I love the title, Do Your Own Thing, because it's hard. I mean, it's really hard as a parent to give our children the confidence that it's okay to be themselves. And you talked about when you started yoga, this was before it became
before it was cool.
Yeah.
You can say it. I was kind of a weird kid. But I mean, in all seriousness, I joke that I took to yoga that early because, I was a teenager and I started something new for the same reason that any teenager does anything, and that is I knew someone older and cooler who did it.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky it was yoga. I had a really pivotal role model in a field hockey coach in high school who would integrate a little bit of yoga asana into our stretching, but then I also had a friend who had an older sister who I really thought was just the bee's knees. I mean, I thought she was the coolest, and I knew she did yoga. And so I, hauled myself over to the community center in my town. At this period in the United States, yoga studios were not really common. They really hadn't arrived in most cities yet. You did it in like community halls and recreation centers and maybe a few gyms. Church basements, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I showed up, and when I tell you I was the youngest one there, it was like I was not just the youngest as in I was among people who were my parents' age. They were like my grandparents' age.
Yeah.
So it was a retirement community. And the beautiful thing, the thing that I still remember that kind of blows me away to this day is that nobody asked me, what are you doing here?
Yeah. I love that.
Like nobody said, oh, how cute. How did you hear about this? They just accepted me. And I thought for a teenager and what you wish for your daughters and, what I wish for every young woman and young man is that you have a place where you feel accepted and seen and safe. And for me, that became yoga.
That's fabulous. So, Rebecca, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on intention and intent, and how you incorporate that in your life, but also, in the yoga practice specifically, because, understanding the philosophy behind that. I'd actually love to learn from you if there are any insights on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no matter what style of yoga you're doing or what level of practitioner you are, you can always start your practice with setting an intention. And you've given such good advice over the years online. And even in my book, you're one of the OM experts that shares a little meditation. So you can certainly apply that on the mat. Like if you get on your mat and you are, for example, just completely harried by life and being overscheduled and overprogrammed, it's taking the extra moment to make sure that that smartphone is nowhere near your mat, to perhaps, find a word or a quality that you need in that moment. So if you need to feel grounded, like I often will ask people, how do you want to feel when you walk out of this room? I have them think ahead to the feeling that they're trying to evoke, because if you know how you want to feel, then the actions you take become simpler. Like if you want to feel relaxed or you want to feel grounded when you leave yoga, then you can't contort your body and compete with your neighbor, you know? You have to listen to your breath. And it just, I think it prioritizes things in a better way. You stop worrying about the appearance of the practice, and you're practicing with intention. So it's something that, you know, that's your field of expertise, and you can apply it to anything, right? And so those are a couple of the ways that I like to encourage my students to use it, is to take a moment, kind of clear everything out of the way, and then think about the feeling you want to evoke on the other side of the practice.
It's beautiful. So I am thrilled to talk to you, to be connected, and I encourage everyone to look up Do Your Own Thing by Rebecca Pachecko, who also goes by Om Gal still, right? On social media?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And your blog, what's the best site to find you on?
There's omgal.com is a nice catch-all. I'm on social media. I'm omgal on Twitter and Instagram and all of that. And it is me. No one is, you know, populating it for me. It's always me. So yeah, I'm so excited for this next chapter, no pun intended. And I'm wishing you a ton of luck and love next month. It's so wild to have back-to-back books.
I know. I'm really excited for you, and I really encourage all of our friends at Intent to check it out. And Rebecca, again, honored to be connected.
Thanks, Mallika.